Hey everybody, Thacia here with the Legacy of Light in conjunction with One Love Wellness Center here in Menasha, Wisconsin. Coming to you for one of my 365 days from my heart to yours. And I'm just getting home from a super lovely walk and some time in a little area where there's some nature and some big giant trees, and I got to have some conversations, and it was lovely. And I guess part of me was feeling a little bit lonely, and so it was good to be out by some trees and by some nature, because that always helps me feel better. And by the water, there's a little lake over there and a trail, and it's really beautiful. And I didn't bring my phone with, so I couldn't take any pictures, but it was really cool chatting with this tree for a while. And then I was walking back, and there were all these little leaves that looked like hearts. So it was super cool. And I guess that would be the only reason why I was like, oh, I wish I brought my phone. So I could have taken a picture of them. But it was nice just being in that moment. And so then I was thinking, on the thought of loneliness and how we can accept less than what we want sometimes when we get into that feeling. If we live within it and instead of living through it, I see now how many times in my life I've been in places that I necessarily didn't want to be, but it was like, well, I'd rather have this than be lonely. And now I don't. I would rather live through that feeling of loneliness and just be in that moment and not stuck on the attachment to the loneliness, but thinking of the things that I then can be grateful for, that I do have, that do help me within that loneliness, so that I can live through that moment, live through that loneliness, and not be stuck in it and in that the downward spiral, to where then I put myself into places I don't really want to be just because of that. So when we live through it and just accept it for what it is, that it's okay. And after everything, there is this ultimate grieving process. And even though I'm proud of myself, I'm happy with the decisions that I'm making, and that I'm choosing to manifest all these things in my life, there is still a grieving process for what was. There's still a grieving process for the past Thacia that made these other decisions. And while I love that part of me, there's just this process of letting go and living through these lonely moments, but also being happy for them, which sounds weird, but I am really getting to know and love all the parts of me. So that I can love all the parts of everyone else. And sometimes what we need is just to step away and go be by ourselves and go spend some moments in silence and meditation. And, walking can be meditation. And it can be calming. And so instead of, sitting in your loneliness, find something that you can do to help you to live through that loneliness. Because this too shall pass. And we must have this grieving process, and loneliness will come sometimes. Even with everybody around you and everything you have. It is just an experience here. And, as always, we have duality here. We have the yin and yang. We have the feminine, the masculine. These things go together. And they bring us balance and they bring us beauty. So if you are in a loneliness stage, just allow yourself to live through that stage and not get within it and attach yourselves to these emotions. But live through it and allow yourself to grieve. I believe there's even a grieving process for, different things in our lives. Just not all this sad stuff, but, a process of grieving like, this was a really enjoyable time of my life. And because of the impermanence, because it's constantly changing, nothing is going to stay the same. Whether we have this attachment of, positive or negative to it, whatever it is, it's always impermanent. It always changes. So when you're in your loneliness, you can keep that in mind, just to remind yourself that this is going to pass and it's going to be okay. And I just need to live through this experience and grieve and what can I gain from this experience? What can I gain from this place, this space that I'm in right now, in this moment? Whether I view it as positive or negative, what can I gain from it? What can I learn? What can I become? Or what can I remember that I am? Because I am that. I am. So, I guess the things that we can do to help ourselves live through these lonely moments is to find something that you find enjoyment within. You know, like mine is being out in nature, is walking, is being by the trees, you know, being by water. And I've been blessed with being able to take this walk in this, where I live has this beautiful bridge, walking bridge or biking bridge or whatever, that goes over this little lake here. It's called Little Lake Butamore. And then on the other side is like a little, you know, nature area, which a lot of it is underwater right now, but that's cool. I still got to go to part of it. But that's something that brings me peace, that brings me joy. And even in, you know, some of the frustration or whatever I was having in this conversation that I was having with this tree, like, still on the way out, it was like the trees were like, it's okay, we love you, it's good. Because they had these little leaves on the ground that were hearts. And it made me want to cry. Because the universe loves us all so much. And it's so beautiful. And even in these times where we're thinking we're so alone, we are never, ever alone. And we have so much connection. To everything, that we don't need to put ourselves in places that we don't want to be, that our heart is telling us not to do or not to be, because our heart is our connection to, you know, to our higher self, to the universe, to everything. So it's never going to steer you the wrong way. And we are never alone. And I know sometimes that seems so ridiculous, and we have to go through, you know, this, what do they call it? The dark night of the soul. Sorry. But even through that, where it seems like nobody is freaking there for you, nobody understands you, even through that, we have a freaking army with us. So sometimes, even though maybe it is not another human, and it may seem like, you know, this human connection is far away from you, even then it's not. So find something that brings you peace within, you know, this lonely period. And do that. And just love yourself. And honor yourself in everything that you do. Honor yourself in your heart and what you desire. And that's going to bring you the most peace. And soon enough, you'll be able to say, this too has passed. And it is okay. Because we have the ability to create whatever we want. And sometimes these, loneliness moments are maybe just reminders of that. Hey, you can wallow through this, or you can, choose to live through it and see the beauty within it. And then remember that you are a creator. So you get to decide, what do you want? What do you want in place of this? And then decide. And manifest it. I love you all. And as always, you are eternally adored and loved for just being you. It's a pretty freaking amazing deal. Okay. Night.